If this message found you tonight, there may be a reason for it. Somewhere right now, someone destined for you may be missing you more deeply than they are willing to admit. On the outside, they may look normal, calm, busy, distracted. They may be speaking with others, going through routines, acting as if nothing inside them has changed. But appearances can be misleading. Because tonight, behind the silence they show the world, your presence may be heavy on their heart. They may not say your name out loud. They may not reach out. They may not give any visible sign at all. Yet missing someone does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like quiet thoughts no one hears, emotions no one sees, and memories that return when the room gets still. And that may be what is happening now. There are people who hide feelings so well that even they begin to believe those feelings are gone. They stay busy. They keep moving. They tell themselves they are fine. But the heart does not always follow the story the mind creates. Tonight, their heart may be telling a different story. They may be thinking about the way you made life feel lighter, the comfort of being understood, the peace of your presence, the rare kind of connection that feels natural instead of forced. Some people only recognize what they had after distance removes it. And now, distance may be teaching them clearly. You may not realize how strongly you still live in their inner world. Some people remain silent while feeling deeply. Some choose pride over honesty. Some miss someone intensely while pretending they feel nothing at all. So if you felt something unusual tonight, a sudden thought of them, an emotional shift, a pull you cannot explain, stay with me. Because the silence they're showing may be hiding feelings far stronger than you think. They may be missing you so deeply because of what your presence gave them. Some people are not missed only as individuals. They are missed because of how life felt around them. The calm they brought, the honesty they carried, the sense of safety they created without even trying. And when that kind of presence leaves, the absence can become louder than expected. You may have brought peace into their world. Not by fixing everything, not by being perfect, but by making things feel lighter, easier, more genuine. With you, they may have felt less pressure to pretend, less need to perform, less loneliness even in silence. That kind of peace is rare. Many people chase excitement and mistake it for connection. They chase attention and mistake it for love. They chase distraction and mistake it for healing. But eventually, surface things fade, and what remains is the memory of who made life feel real. That may be why they miss you tonight. They may have tried meeting new people, staying busy, or convincing themselves they had moved on. But comparisons happen naturally when someone left a deeper mark than expected. They may notice others do not feel the same. Conversations may feel forced where yours felt effortless. Attention may feel empty where your presence felt grounding. Moments may feel crowded where being with you felt peaceful. And slowly, your absence begins speaking louder than your presence once did. When you were there, they may have underestimated the connection because it felt natural. Familiar things are often taken for granted. People assume what feels steady will always remain. But distance changes perspective. What once seemed ordinary can suddenly feel irreplaceable. What was overlooked can become unforgettable. What was available can become deeply missed once it is gone. They may also be realizing that not everyone can meet them where you did. Not everyone listens the same. Not everyone understands without being told. Not everyone brings warmth without asking for something in return. Those realizations can hit hardest at night when there is no noise left to distract them. And tonight, they may be feeling the weight of what your absence truly means. They may be hiding it for one reason more than any other. They do not know how to return honestly. Missing someone is one thing. Admitting it is another. Feeling regret in private is easier than facing what caused the distance in the first place. And tonight, while they may be thinking of you deeply, they could also be wrestling with the truth of what it would take to come back the right way. Pride may be part of it. Some people would rather stay silent than admit they were wrong. They struggle to say, I mishandled this, or I miss you, or I should have been different. Pride protects the ego, but it often costs the heart. Fear may also be part of it. Fear that too much time has passed. Fear that you no longer care. Fear that you have healed and moved on. Fear that reaching out would be rejected. When someone carries these fears, silence can feel safer than vulnerability. There may also be guilt. They may know they caused confusion. They may remember moments when they were distant, inconsistent, or emotionally unavailable. They may realize now what you needed from them and how they failed to give it. Guilt can make people feel unworthy of another chance. So instead of reaching out, they hide. They miss you quietly, think of you privately, replay moments alone, carry feelings no one else can see. And from the outside, it can look like they feel nothing at all. But silence does not always mean absence of emotion. Sometimes silence means someone feels deeply and knows honesty would require growth they are still trying to build. They may also fear that words alone are no longer enough. Because if they return now, it cannot be with the same confusion. It cannot be half-hearted. It cannot be temporary. Some part of them knows that if they come back, they must come back real. And that truth can be intimidating. So tonight, while they miss you deeply, they may also be caught between two powerful forces, the desire to reach out and the fear of what it would require. That inner conflict is often why the deepest feelings stay hidden the longest. Tonight, they may be feeling more than they can comfortably carry. On the outside, they may still look fine. They may answer messages, go through routines, laugh when expected, and appear completely normal. But some of the heaviest emotions are carried quietly where no one else can see them. And right now, longing may be at the center of it all. Longing for your presence, longing for the comfort they felt with you, longing for a conversation they wish they could have tonight, longing for a version of life that felt more genuine when you were in it. Longing can be powerful because it grows in silence. They may also be feeling regret. Regret for waiting too long. Regret for not appreciating what they had. Regret for moments they were distant when they wanted closeness. Regret for letting fear or pride decide things. Regret often arrives after clarity does. And clarity may be strong for them tonight. They may be realizing that distractions did not replace the connection. That time did not erase what they felt. That pretending to be unaffected only delayed what they would eventually have to face. There may also be emotional loneliness. Not simply being alone, but feeling the absence of someone who once made things feel fuller. Some people can be surrounded by others and still feel the space left by one person who mattered. That may be where they are now. They may want to reach out more than they would ever admit. A message they almost type. Your name they almost search. Words they rehearse in their head but never send. An apology they imagine but cannot yet deliver, but something keeps holding them back. Fear, pride, uncertainty, the question of whether you would even want to hear from them now. So they stay quiet while their emotions grow louder. This is why some people seem distant while feeling deeply. They do not know how to bridge the space between what they feel and what they are brave enough to do. And beneath the longing, regret, and loneliness, one more feeling may be rising tonight: hope. Hope that maybe the connection still exists. Hope that maybe you still think of them. Hope that maybe silence has not ended everything. When longing and hope meet in the same heart, sleep becomes difficult. And tonight, that may be exactly what they are carrying. If you have been feeling something unusual tonight, there may be a reason for that too. Sometimes when a connection is real, emotions do not stay neatly contained on one side. You may not know why someone suddenly entered your thoughts, why your mood shifted for no clear reason, or why memories began returning out of nowhere. Yet something inside you notices it. Maybe you thought of them unexpectedly, not because you were trying to revisit the past, not because you were searching for answers. Their face, their name, their energy simply crossed your mind without warning. Moments like that can feel random, but they often happen when something emotional is active again. You may have felt a heaviness tonight. Everything around you looked normal, yet your heart felt softer, more reflective, or strangely emotional. Sometimes we sense changes internally before anything visible happens externally. Emotion often arrives before explanation. You may also be noticing memories resurfacing. Small details you had not thought about in a long time. A certain conversation. The way they once looked at you. A place tied to them. A feeling you assumed had faded. Memory often becomes louder when something unfinished is stirring. Another sign is restlessness. You try to relax, but your energy feels unsettled. Sleep feels delayed. Your mind drifts back to the same person without meaning to. You check your phone more than usual without knowing exactly why. It can feel like anticipation without a source. And then there is intuition, that quiet inner sense that tonight feels different. No message, no proof, no clear reason, just a feeling that something has shifted somewhere beyond what you can currently see. Many people dismiss intuition because it whispers instead of shouts. This does not mean you need to chase anything. It simply means pay attention to yourself tonight. Notice what keeps returning. Notice where your energy feels calm and where it feels stirred. Notice what your heart seems to know before your mind can explain it. Sometimes your inner world responds before the outer world reveals what is happening. You do not need every answer right now. You only need to trust that if tonight feels different, there may be more unfolding than you realize. What happens next may begin quietly. When someone misses you deeply but has been hiding it, they rarely return in a dramatic way at first. Real feelings often move carefully. They test the waters before they reveal themselves fully. They may watch from a distance first, checking your profile, wondering how you have been, looking for signs that you seem happy, peaceful, or already moved on, not because they want to play games but because uncertainty feels heavy when someone still cares. They may look for a small reason to reconnect, a simple message, a reaction to something you post, asking about something minor that opens the door to conversation. Sometimes people begin with small contact because deeper honesty feels vulnerable. And if they do reach out, it may seem casual. They may speak lightly, friendly, as if nothing major is behind it. But beneath simple words can be someone who has been missing you for longer than they admitted and finally found the courage to break the silence. Still, timing matters. Just because they miss you tonight does not always mean they act tomorrow. Some people need time to gather courage. Some need to heal enough to return properly. Some need to face their own mistakes honestly before they can come back with something real. That is why patience matters now. Do not chase mixed signals. Do not lower your standards for potential. Do not accept words without effort. Let actions reveal intention. Let consistency speak louder than emotion. Anyone can miss someone in silence. Not everyone can honor those feelings through mature action. And if nothing visible happens immediately, it does not mean nothing is changing. A hidden feeling can become an honest message. Regret can become accountability. Fear can become courage when the heart gets tired of hiding. So stay grounded in your own life. Keep your peace. Keep your confidence. Keep moving forward. If someone truly destined for you is returning to this connection, they will need to meet you with truth, maturity, and real effort, because the next chapter should not repeat the old one. It should be better. Some people hide feelings the longest when they feel them the deepest, not because they do not care, not because the connection meant nothing, but because real emotions can be hard to face, especially when pride, fear, or regret stand in the way. You may be that kind of connection for someone tonight. Not a passing thought, not a temporary memory, not someone easily replaced, but someone whose absence still speaks in quiet moments. If this message reached you tonight, let it remind you of your value. You are not forgettable. You are not too much to love. You are not meant to beg for clarity. You are not meant to accept silence as your only answer forever. If someone returns, let them return honestly. If they reach out, let them come with effort. If they ask for another chance, let them bring growth with them. Because what is meant for you should arrive stronger, not weaker. Clearer, not more confusing. More mature, not more distant. Tonight may simply be the beginning of movement you cannot yet see. A hidden feeling becoming impossible to ignore. A restless heart preparing to speak. A silence getting ready to break. A truth rising to the surface. And whether this leads to reunion or closure, something meaningful is shifting. Sometimes the deepest emotions stay hidden until they are finally ready to become real. The quiet ache in their chest, the memories that keep returning, the thought of you that appears without warning, the feeling that something is unfinished. These are not random. They are the signs of a connection that never truly dissolved. They are the echoes of a bond that distance could not erase. And tonight, those echoes may be louder than ever before. Tonight, they may be sitting with thoughts they have been avoiding for days, weeks, or even months. The distractions that once worked are failing. The noise that once drowned out the silence now feels empty. And in that emptiness, your presence returns, not as a memory but as a feeling, a warmth, a pull, a quiet knowing that something is missing. They may try to push it away. They may tell themselves it is nothing. They may convince themselves that time will heal whatever this is, but the feeling does not leave. It lingers. It waits. It grows. Because what was real cannot simply be erased by distance. What was genuine cannot be forgotten just because it is no longer in front of them. They may be searching for answers they are afraid to find. Why do they still think of you? Why does no one else feel the same? Why does the silence feel heavier than any argument ever did? These questions may be circling in their mind tonight, unwelcome but unstoppable. And the answer, the one they may not want to admit, is simple. You mattered. You still matter. And pretending otherwise has only made the emptiness deeper. They may be wondering if you think of them too, if you ever feel that same pull. If you have already moved on and found someone who makes you forget they ever existed, that thought may be painful for them, not because they want to possess you, but because the idea of being forgotten by you feels like losing something irreplaceable. They may be replaying the last conversation you had, the last look, the last moment before distance grew between you. They may be wondering what they could have done differently, what words they should have said, what silence they should have broken. Regret has a way of rewriting the past, showing you all the paths you did not take. And tonight, they may be walking those paths in their mind, wishing they had chosen differently. But regret without action only deepens the ache. Missing someone without reaching out only prolongs the distance. Feeling something real without honoring it only creates more silence. And silence, when it stretches too long, begins to feel like permanence. But permanence is an illusion. What is meant for you does not disappear because time passes. What is real does not fade because silence sits between you. What is destined does not end because fear got in the way. Tonight, they may be standing at a threshold. The threshold between hiding what they feel and admitting it, between protecting their pride and honoring their heart, between staying silent and speaking truth. They may not cross that threshold tonight. They may need more time. They may need to wrestle with their fears a little longer, but the threshold is there. And eventually they will have to decide. Because the weight of unspoken truth does not get lighter, it gets heavier. And eventually the heart demands to be heard. As for you, stay where you are, not in waiting but in living, not in anticipation but in presence. Not in hope that drains you, but in hope that anchors you. You are not defined by whether they return. You are not made whole by their confession. You are already whole. You are already worthy. You are already enough. And if they return, they will return to someone who did not shrink while they were gone, someone who did not lose themselves in their absence, someone who became more of who they were meant to be. That is the version of you that will recognize truth when it comes. That is the version of you that will not settle for less than honesty. That is the version of you that will know, without doubt, whether what is being offered is real. Tonight, if you feel something stirring, do not panic. Do not reach out in desperation. Do not abandon your peace to chase answers. Simply notice, observe. Let the feeling be present without letting it control you. You are not waiting by the phone. You are not checking for signs. You are not hopping for a message that may never come. You are simply living your life, and if something is meant to reach you, it will. Not because you forced it, but because it found its way to you. That is how alignment works. That is how destiny moves. Not through force, but through resonance. Not through chasing, but through being. And if nothing happens tonight or tomorrow or this week, that does not mean nothing is happening. The most important shifts often happen where no one can see them. Inside. In the quiet space where feelings become courage, where regret becomes resolve, where silence becomes the bridge to honesty. Trust that process. Trust that timing. Trust that what is meant for you will not miss you. And trust that you are not alone in what you feel tonight. Somewhere in the quiet of their own space, someone may be feeling it too. Someone may be missing you more deeply than they can say. Someone may be carrying the weight of unsent words and unspoken truths. Someone may be realizing, perhaps for the first time, that the connection they walked away from is the one they needed all along. Let them have that realization. Let them sit with it. Let them grow through it. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is not to remind them. Your job is to be who you are, to live your life, to honor your own heart. And if they are meant to find their way back, they will. Not because you made it easy, but because the connection was always real. And real things have a way of returning to themselves. So rest tonight, not in anxiety, but in peace. Not in what if, but in what is. You are exactly where you need to be, and so are they, even if they do not know it yet. The missing, the longing, the hidden feelings, they are not punishments. They are teachers. They are revealing what matters. They are preparing the heart for honesty. And when honesty finally comes, it will not feel like pressure. It will feel like relief for both of you. Go gently into the rest of your night. Let the silence do its work. Let the feelings settle where they belong. And know that you are deeply loved, deeply valued, and deeply seen. Not because someone finally said it, but because you always have been. And that truth does not depend on anyone's confession. It simply is. Rest in that. Live in that. And let what is meant for you find you, ready and whole and at peace. And now, my child, let us walk a little further together into the light that follows the revelation. Not because the message was incomplete, but because your heart may need to see the full picture of what comes after the missing, after the longing, after the hidden feelings have been acknowledged. You have learned that someone destined for you may be missing you deeply tonight. You have learned that silence does not always mean indifference. You have learned that distance does not always erase connection. But now, let me tell you about what this means for you and how you should hold yourself in the days ahead. First, understand this clearly. Their missing you is not your responsibility to fix. Their hidden feelings are not your burden to carry. You are not required to chase someone who is still finding the courage to be honest. You are not obligated to wait indefinitely for someone who has not yet learned how to show up. Your peace does not depend on their confession. Your worth does not rise or fall with their readiness. You have done the work. You have healed. You have grown. You have learned to stand on your own. And that strength is not something to set aside just because someone finally feels the weight of your absence. If they return, let them return to the version of you that is whole, not desperate. If they speak, let them speak to someone who knows their value, not someone who doubts it. If they ask for another chance, let them ask someone who will not settle for less than honesty, consistency, and real effort. In the days ahead, you may notice shifts in your own energy. The longing that once felt sharp may soften. The questions that once kept you awake may lose their urgency. The hope that once felt fragile may settle into something steadier. This is not because you have stopped caring. It is because you have started healing. There is a difference. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means remembering without pain. It means holding the past gently without letting it dictate your future. It means being open to what comes without clinging to what was. You are not the same person who entered this season of waiting. You are wiser now, calmer, more grounded, more aware of what you deserve. And that awareness is a gift. It will protect you from settling for less than what is truly meant for you. If your soulmate does reach out, do not abandon yourself in the excitement of reconnection. Do not forget the lessons you have learned. Do not rush to erase the distance without ensuring that the closeness will be built on something stronger than before. Let them show you through actions, not just words. Let them prove through consistency, not just emotion. Let them earn back the trust that was lost, not because you are punishing them, but because trust that is rebuilt slowly lasts longer than trust that is rushed. You are not being harsh by requiring effort. You are being wise. And wisdom is what protects love from repeating the same mistakes. If they do not reach out, if the missing remains hidden and the silence continues, do not interpret that as a reflection of your worth. Some people take longer to face their own hearts. Some people need more time to grow. Some people may never find the courage to return. And that is not your loss. It is their lesson. Your life does not pause for someone who is still learning how to love honestly. Your future does not depend on their timeline. Your joy does not require their presence. You are already whole. You are already enough. And what is meant for you will not pass you by, even if it comes in a different form than you expected. In the coming days, pay attention to how your body feels when you think of them. Does your chest tighten with anxiety or does it soften with peace? Does your mind race with questions or does it rest in knowing? Your body is wiser than your thoughts. It will tell you what is healthy and what is not. If the thought of them brings more anxiety than peace, that is a signal, not that the connection is wrong, but that something still needs healing. Maybe in you, maybe in them, maybe in the space between. Trust that signal. Do not ignore it for the sake of hope. Let it guide you toward what is truly aligned. You may also find that your intuition becomes clearer in the days ahead. What once felt confusing may begin to settle. What once seemed uncertain may start to reveal its truth. This is not magic. It is the natural result of you choosing yourself consistently. When you stop abandoning yourself for others, your inner voice grows louder, and that inner voice will never lead you wrong. It may not give you all the answers at once. It may not spell out every step. But it will guide you gently, steadily toward what is right for you. Trust it, honor it, follow it. And finally, my child, remember this. Love that is meant for you does not require you to beg. It does not require you to prove your worth. It does not require you to wait in confusion, hopping for clarity that never comes. Love that is meant for you arrives with peace. It arrives with consistency. It arrives with honesty. It may not be perfect, but it will be real. It may not be easy, but it will be true. And when it comes, you will know it. Not because it is loud, but because it is calm. Not because it is dramatic, but because it is steady. Not because it demands your attention, but because it earns your trust. So go forward not in fear, but in faith. Not in doubt, but in certainty. Not in hiding, but in full, radiant confidence. You are protected. You are favored, you are chosen, and you are never alone. The missing, the longing, the hidden feelings, they are not your burden to carry. They are signs, not assignments. They are information, not instructions. Let them be what they are, and let yourself be who you are becoming, whole, free, ready for what is real. Go in peace. You are never alone, and the best part of your story is still ahead. And now, as we come to the very end of this sacred message, I want you to sit quietly with yourself for just one final moment. Not to analyze, not to overthink, but simply to breathe and let everything you have heard settle deep into your heart. You have learned that someone destined for you may be missing you deeply tonight. You have learned that silence does not always mean indifference. You have learned that distance does not always erase connection. And now, standing on the other side of this revelation, you are not meant to be afraid. You are meant to be at peace. Their missing you is not your burden to carry. Their hidden feelings are not your responsibility to fix. You are not waiting by the phone. You are not checking for signs. You are not hopping for a message that may never come. You are simply living your life, and if something is meant to reach you, it will. Not because you forced it, but because it found its way to you. That is how alignment works. That is how destiny moves. Not through force, but through resonance. Not through chasing, but through being. So rest tonight, not in anxiety, but in peace. Not in what if, but in what is. You are exactly where you need to be. You are already whole. You are already enough. And what is meant for you will not miss you. Go forward not in fear, but in faith. Not in doubt, but in certainty. Not in hiding, but in full, radiant confidence. You are protected. You are favored. You are chosen, and you are never alone. The waiting is not empty. The love is not fading. And the best part of your story is still ahead. Go in peace. You are never alone.